Welcome to another episode, Monster Men.
Arr.
That was
That's
a good
my best
intro
one
right
so
there.
far.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, so today we are talking about.
Wait, he's Jack Campisi.
This is Hunter Shea, and we're still celebrating Halloween. I'm eating the official vegetable of Halloween, candy corn.
Absolutely. How come you can't get this on the cob?
I don't know. That Indian corn, you think you're going to bite into it, and it'll taste like candy corn, but it doesn't.
When I was a kid, I used to be able to stick these through my teeth and have like a candy corn mouth. Can't do it anymore.
What's your favorite color on there? I like to eat them in the colored section.
I already eat the yellow first. Yellow first, white second, and then finish up.
White is a delicacy in some countries. Like when you hear cannibals. You know, the palm of the hand is a delicacy to cannibals. You ever hear that?
No.
Whenever people talk about cannibals, it's like, oh, the palm is like the best part of the human.
Oh.
No,
I think that's like really rough, I would think, and tough and chewy.
I know. I don't know. What would be the best part? We'll have to do a cannibalism show sometime.
Consider eating candy corn for...
This is a candy corn episode of Monster Man. But we're also going to talk about horror movies, and we're going to tap into your expertise and my dumb opinion.
It's equally. Both of us are equally dumb opinion. But I want to talk about really what we think makes a good horror movie and where some horror movies kind of go wrong.
And what makes a good sugar high?
Candy corn. Well, I actually did something on this recently for somebody who asked me about this. And they were like, well, what do you think of like the three...
There's a ghost in your house.
It's either a ghost in the wall or my cat trying to get out. So I did talk about it. I said there were three elements that I think that you really need to make a good horror movie. I said...
Trapped cat.
A trapped cat is... Especially this cat is awesome. I said it needs to be kind of... It can't be too slick, too overproduced. There has to be a sort of grittiness to it, a sort of...
When you were talking about it in
feel.
search of, you were talking about the graininess.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. It's just, it has to look... Because real life doesn't look HD perfect. You know, it has to look something that you could really encounter in your life. Second thing is, I think that really all the really good horror movies that we like as a kid from the 60s onward have a little bit of nudity. Because let's face it, most of your horror guys, people who watch
slasher flick. A slasher flick has to have it.
If you don't have it in a slasher flick, then what did you just waste everybody's time for? You can get away with not having it in some of the
there's a lot of different kinds of horror. Yeah.
But I think if you're going to go for full-on gore, you got to have a little bit of nudity.
Like The Sixth Sense, a great movie.
Yeah. You
but that's a different kind of horror movie than...
That's an artsy kind of horror movie.
Yeah.
Talking about the regular ones, you know.
One of the things that Jaws is famous for, Hitchcock too, it's not showing the monster.
You can't show it too early. That's a big mistake that a lot of... Because they're so enthralled with either the garbage CGI that they think was the greatest thing they ever made, or they spent so much time making this monster suit that they want to show it. If you show it too early, then it takes away that punch at the end when you should really be scared.
That's what made Cloverfield so great.
That was freaky.
Well, you were spending that time like, what was that? And it moved. The monster was so weird looking anyway.
Yeah.
You couldn't guess it was going to look like. So, you know, the legs were so weird on that thing.
It was super Lovecrafty, and it was so bizarre. Another good movie that did it right is The Descent, about the women who were spelunky or whatever. You catch glimpses, but it's not till they're so deep into the cave, and you're so deep into the movie, that they're really seeing the true creatures that are in there. Oh my God, that's to me one of the best horror movies since 2000 is The Descent. Absolutely, it's so scary.
One of the all-time greats is The Thing.
Which one?
The Kurt Russell one.
Yeah.
And there is a scene in that movie where they're testing the blood to see who is the thing. And they take a heated up wire and they're dipping it.
Yeah.
And the suspense in that scene.
Yeah, waiting to see if something's going to pop out of the blood.
And that movie has, we'll do a whole show on The Thing because they're doing a remake.
I think we're going to have to watch that.
Yeah, I just watched the original.
Is it supposed to be a prequel to the
It's
one?
supposed to be a prequel, but it looks like
Because they're Norwegians.
Yeah, the dog at the beginning of the thing.
Right.
This movie, remember there was a helicopter chasing it?
Yeah.
It's that helicopter.
All right, so we're at the new thing is at the Norwegian base.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That movie was awesome because that did things that you never saw before with monsters, with
That had your
things
gore?
morphing into whatever.
No tension between the characters? I think like that and Alien. Two really well done.
When you really got into the character, I remembered all their names.
Nice.
When I was growing up, I knew all the names of the characters in The Thing and Alien because they made such distinct characters of each one, and that you just really you grew to like them or hate them. And when they would die or when they were on the run, I mean, it really sucked you in.
Yeah.
But you know what? That comes from great writing, and that comes from great acting, which a lot of times in horror just does not go hand in hand.
Yeah.
They just go to the lowest common denominator and just kind of throw something together.
Well, that's what happens once I help myself to my candy corn.
So
now this one only has orange and
ooh,
and yellow.
that's a beheaded one. It's a decapitated candy corn.
Whereas this one, no yellow. Psycho, is that a horror movie?
That's a horror movie. You could say thriller suspense, but that's a horror movie.
There's so many different kinds of horror movies, and that's the trouble with it, trying to pin down what makes one great. Originality, of course, is the Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one. One of the things that makes that great is it was so original.
Right.
Guy in your dreams, the razor claws, all that.
Yep.
Brand new. Whereas, they can't think of anything new now. So they come up with the Jeepers Creepers.
There's a problem with being new, and it's in the film industry, it's in the publishing industry. There are new ideas out there, but the people who spend the money to take your piece of work and put it out to the world, they want to make their money back. They think that audiences don't like things that are too new. So you always have to be a little bit of kind of biting off of something that's already been done because they think that's where audiences are comfortable with. So if you have anything that's too new, too original, it usually gets dismissed.
If you step out of horror and you go to Arrested Development, was a TV show that was way too ahead of its time.
Right? Yeah.
That was one of the best shows ever made, and it was too new to the general public wants.
They want the
same old sitcom.
Can you give me Who's the Boss? The
want
third
life,
generation.
Life According to Jim.
Oh God, yes. Why would anyone want Life According to Jim? Unless you're a real fan of what's her face, Courtney Thorne.
Oh,
Is that her name?
Courtney Thorne Smith.
Yeah.
From Melrose Place.
Right. Unless you're a woman, you think Jim Belushi's really sexy. Could you? No.
The wrong Belushi.
You know what's funny? That a lot of the people I know who watch that show, they are that show. So I guess it's kind of like watching a home movie for some people. The rest of us are not amused.
So that's the way I feel when I watch The Thing. I'm watching my life.
You live at McMurdo Station? Kurt Russell had a cool hat, cowboy hat in that movie.
The hat's off.
My hat's over there. But see, he had a really cool hat too, just kind of like my hat that I'm not wearing right now.
So what are 5 great horror movies so people should see?
The Haunting. The original version, The Haunting.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of those ones everybody talks about as sacred.
That's Robert Wise directed that movie. Sam Raimi, everything he did with his weird camera angles and stuff with Evil Dead came from that movie. That movie's terrifying without real special effects.
They did a remake of that. It was an abortion.
That should never have happened.
It came out right around the time that The Blair Witch and The Sixth Sense came out. And I remember thinking to myself, this is a study in how not to do it and how to do it.
Yeah, that was
You watch it.
atrocious.
CGI.
Well, here's the key. Once you're thinking CGI, stop.
Yeah.
You failed. Good horror doesn't need CGI.
You compare that to a little kid, I see dead people. You watch The Sixth Sense, and I mean, for me, that movie theater was on edge.
Yes.
I kept waiting for like off camera, because the camera would move and then there's a freaking dead person, and you were like, duh. I've never seen a bunch of grown people gripping, just waiting.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen? And there's the one scene where the kid goes to the bathroom and there's a woman in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great
Yeah, that was
scene.
I think he spent it all on that movie, M. Night.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to recover since.
Then you got the Blair Witch Project. Some people love it, some people hate it.
That movie put my wife in labor. She delivered a baby 12 hours later.
But originality-wise, you've got all these found footage kind of movies now that these guys had the idea, they pulled it off, and I remember coming out of the theater, and my friend didn't get the whole last shot. If you're watching this podcast, how many times can we say spoiler alert before you realize that you ought to have seen these movies before?
Yeah.
By the way, the closing scene, you see somebody doing something, and my friend comes out, and I explained to him why that was happening in reference to something they said at the beginning of the movie. And he went from like, that movie was okay, to, oh my God!
But that did spawn a whole generation of movies that are just like it. I mean, there's tons. Aside from the ones that, like Cloverfield and Paranormal Activity, The Last Exorcism, there are a ton, even more that never even made it into theaters. Another movie I wanted to say, top movies, The Shining.
Yes.
Without
Another
a
study.
doubt.
Watch The Shining. They watched the TV movie they made where Stephen King was like, I want them to do it right this time.
No, they didn't do it right.
And it was all CG and
it was
obvious
terrible.
scare. Somebody walks out of the room and a rocking chair moves or something.
Plus, it had this nice tender heart to it that just didn't work.
That's also an example of when you make a movie out of a book, sometimes you got to change the book.
Yeah, and Stanley Kubrick had a vision, and he
Open
created a phenomenal
spaces.
movie.
He created an atmosphere in that movie.
I mean, if you get the DVD, if you're lucky, you'll get the documentary that his daughter made, where he's showing him, Stanley, breaking down Shelley Duvall to the point where she is a babbling mess, but he needed her to be that way in the movie. And I think he gave Jack Nicholson whatever he needed to be insane, because Jack was just crazy off.
Give me the bat, Wendy.
You hear that sound, Wendy?
The dog guy in the room.
You've always been here, Mr. Torrance. So
That-
that's definitely one of the best.
You know, the commercial for The Shining was scary. When it was dun, 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 dun. I mean, that alone was.
I don't want to see this movie, Tony. Yes, you do.
Supposedly, there's going to be sequels to The Shining.
You told me this earlier.
I just read this online in Fandango's newsletter. Even had it.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King's writing a sequel to The Shining, and little Danny's, I guess, grown up and fighting psychic vampires. So leave it to. Maybe he knows what he's doing, but
I'm hoping it's a lie. I'm hoping Stephen just threw out some lie to cover up whatever real project he's working on next. Because that can't be it. Well, I gave 2. Now you give 2.
Silence of the Lambs is a pretty obvious one. The Thing, I already talked about. I'm cheating now.
Oh, you're going back. So we've got 4. Can we agree on a 5th?
Yeah, we can agree on a 5th.
I'd say I'd be up there with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's a classic. You have to see it, but I don't think that movie's for everyone.
I hope not.
Yeah.
If you want to do a wide appeal, there's nothing up here. I mean, a lot of people would say The Exorcist or The Omen. I think that's too obvious.
Halloween is often cited as a classic because that takes the slasher.
You know what? That's a good pick right there.
But that, unlike Friday the 13th, had more substance.
It had more substance. It was more about the build of him coming to get you. Friday the 13th was about,
It's kill after kill.
naked girls and how can I kill everybody,
Which
was awesome.
How long till Kevin Bacon gets it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the original Halloween is one because that's another one of those ones that spawned a million imitators.
So Halloween it is.
Halloween it is.
Number 5.
Boom.
So you got your 5.
We'll do this show many, many times.
What you know what? Would it be cool to hear is what's your top 5? What's your top 3? Or what's your top 1? But, you know, let us know.
Or what's one that nobody might think of right off the bat, like when you mentioned Near Dark.
Right.
You know, what are some ones? So send us some suggestions. Maybe we'll watch something that we haven't watched yet.
Yeah, hit us on YouTube, comment, go to huntershea.com, email us, hit us on Twitter. Just let us know. We'll talk about it on a future episode.
All right. See you next time on
Monster Men.